Okay, welcome back to Business Owners Speak. Today I'm thrilled to have with us Sam Craven with Vertex Soccer. Sam, how are you today?
Good, thank you, sir. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for taking some time to be on with us. So, like I do with everybody, if you could start off by telling us a little bit about you and a little bit about the business.
Yeah, so I'll talk about like my personal story first. But the short version of that is I was playing at a professional soccer academy in England. And when you do that, when you get to the age of 18, they tell you whether or not you're going to get a professional contract at that club. So unfortunately, I wasn't offered a professional contract. And through a contact of my dad's. My dad actually coached soccer in America for a couple of years, and a guy that he knew was coaching at a Division 2 school in Boca called Lynn University in Florida. And he just said, "Listen, we have a scholarship available. We need your position. Do you want to come out?" So I made the big decision at 18 to leave home on my own. Went and played soccer and studied in Florida for just over 3 years, and then fortunate enough to sign a professional contract after that in New York City. And then after that, I went home and actually signed a pro contract at home as well. I think I was around 25 years old at that point. And what happened was, when I got home, a lot of players, young players at other professional academies started reaching out and saying, "Sam, I heard you played in America. How do I do it?" Because we don't have anything like college athletics in the UK. There's nothing like it's high school and pro. Like there's nothing in between, or academy and pro. So one favor turned into two, turned into five, turned into a business. So ultimately, or primarily, the business was set up with the sole intention of giving players or young men like myself the opportunity to go and play soccer in the US on a scholarship. So that was good. It was a steady income. And then I got a phone call after about 4 or 5 years of doing that from a big Division 1 university in the Northeast, that said, "Sam, every 4 years we get to go on a foreign trip. We're coming to England this year. The company that are facilitating our tour have said that they can get us high-level games and get us tickets to games and stuff like that. And we're 2 weeks out from flying and there's nothing in place. Can you help us out?" And with the connections that I'd made and, the relationships that I built from facilitating the placement of these players, because there's still a duty of care, like the professional academies in the UK. Some of these kids may have been at the pro academy for like 12, 13 years. Oh, wow. And the professional academy have to prove to the governing bodies that they've put that young man or woman on what they refer to as a viable exit route. So, they want to make sure that they're on doing something, even if they don't get a professional contract, still, moving forward in both their football or soccer and academics and life as well. So yeah, I'm like, of course I can get these games, of course I can get these tickets, like I thought that was easy. And then light bulb went off and the tours business started. So we started offering 10-day tours to elite academy teams from the US, as well as Division 1 universities. And obviously the pandemic stopped us in our tracks a little bit. But just to speak about last year alone, so 2023, in terms of university soccer teams, we brought Stanford, Syracuse, Notre Dame, and Brown, Seattle, Colgate, Santa Clara. We have Ohio State coming in 10 days. So yeah, we like to think that we're doing things the right way with the right people. Right. And then the next arm of the business was when we were bringing a lot of American academy and college teams to the UK. We found that many of the coaches wanted to go into the professional soccer clubs in the UK, and just watch practice and learn and, you know, pick up different philosophies and methodologies and styles of coaching and stuff like that. So we then moved into the professional development side of the game, and we're actually going to launch our first event at the end of this year in Miami. So we'll bring over Premier League and England national team soccer coaches to Miami, and they'll then deliver, as I say, coaching education and professional development to US academy and collegiate coaches. So I think that's about it, really, from me.
So, all right, that was a good recap, and I think I understand it, but I want to clarify a couple of things. So, right now, the core business is taking or having university teams come to you to go overseas and watch and go to and do some training and go to games.
Yeah, so there's at the minute there's two fully established sides to the business. The first one is facilitating the placement of professional academy players from the UK.
Okay, so that's still happening.
Yeah, yeah. So we take players from England, Wales, Scotland to play at American universities. And then the second part of the business is we'll also take NCAA Division 1 soccer teams and MLS Next soccer academies and ECNL soccer academy teams to England to play games. They'll play, you know, just the experience of, for example, going into Manchester United and playing against their U16s or something like that, you know. And then I'll use Ohio State as an example, actually. So Ohio State University soccer team are coming in 10 days. They'll watch Manchester United versus Arsenal, Tottenham versus Manchester City. They'll play against Brentford's U21s, Leicester City's U21s, and Everton's U21s. They'll also train at Wolverhampton Wanderers Academy. They'll train at Nottingham Forest Academy. So these are all like Premier League teams,
right?
You know, and ultimately the access that we have is the result of the work that we've done on the scholarship side. You know, we've built the trust and the relationship by looking after the players that were unsuccessful in getting a pro contract, which is now enabling us to give this access to the teams that we bring on tour.
Oh. Interesting idea, and certainly valuable. If I sent a kid to school and they said, well, we're going to go to England for 10 days and get to see all of this stuff that we only see on television, I'd be all for it. So I'm curious, though, you know, as who does all of the coordination? Is that all you?
No, it's not all me. So we have 11 people at the business, at the company. Okay. There are 5 in the UK, myself and 4 others in the US, and then 1 is actually in Holland. So he does all the visuals and website and stuff like that. But yeah, every single person that works at the company is a young player that was released from a pro academy that I actually sent to university in America that has since graduated, and then I've given them a job. Right. So
wow,
it's amazing, you know, because we value the we understand value, but have also reaped the rewards of the experience and opportunity that we're now offering and delivering to other you know, young male and female players.
So I'm curious, in America there's obviously pretty strict amateur rules with, you know, what you can accept and what you can't. But so if they're at a quote unquote pro situation overseas, are they still eligible to be able to come to university here?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we actually had a discussion about that this morning.
Oh, really?
So what happened was, several years ago, we sent a player that had signed a 1-year professional contract at a professional club in England, and there's 4 professional divisions in England. So Premier League, Championship, League 1, and League 2. So this young man had signed a 1-year professional contract in League One. Okay. But the money that he was making, like, he wasn't making any money off it. Even though it was a pro contract, that money was only covering his basic expenses or necessary expenses, if you want to put it that way. So when we then delivered that information to the NCAA, they then said, okay, regardless of the terminology on the contract, we understand what you're saying, and we don't deem him to be a professional player, even though the contract says professional. So so yeah, that's obviously opened the door for many other players. For example, we just sent a young man to the University of Kentucky a few months ago, and he was actually a 2-year pro at Tottenham. And he was earning on paper, he was earning good money. But then when you take into consideration tax, national insurance, he's living in the middle of London, which isn't cheap. He's just getting by, is what he's doing. So he was then he was actually given 3 years of eligibility where he could go and play straight away. So yeah, that what you've just mentioned there has actually been a large part of our success, because that new understanding that we attained then opened the doors to an even higher level of player that we weren't working with before.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to talk about the success of some of our players, we've had 12 players drafted to the MLS. We had 2 drafted in January, first and second round, both signed 3-year contracts in the MLS.
Right.
So, and these are players that were told at 18, you're not good enough.
Right.
And it may not be that they're not good enough. It may just be that they need 2 or 3 years more development in certain areas of the game, whether that's physical, technical, tactical, or psychological. Right. Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, like, we feel that the players that we place at American universities, technically and tactically, they are slightly better than the American players at the same age. I think that just comes from the amount of games that we play, to be honest, and the amount of time spent on the ball. But one thing that the American players definitely have are better in than the English or British players is the psychological and the physical side of the game, for sure. Oh. So yeah, if we can bring those players over and then they can adopt those understandings and teachings and stuff like that, you see a lot of them really kick on.
Sure. Any thought to, and maybe you're already doing it, but American high schoolers coming to you and saying, Sam, I don't have a scholarship offer anywhere. Can you help me with that?
Yeah, to be honest, it's we were looking to make a move into the MLS Academy market, because, as you can imagine, so just to talk about American sports, Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, they don't have academies. The natural progression will be high school to college, college to the pros. So MLS has only just kind of, I mean, some of the MLS academies are no more than 2-3 years old. So it's very new for them. And now they're coming through that academy, they hit 18, and obviously some of them aren't getting professional contracts, whether it's into Miami or LA Galaxy, wherever it is. So we were approached by, if I'm honest, probably like 4 or 5 MLS clubs to facilitate the placement of their players at American universities as well. But what we found was that because of the budgets of a lot of these universities, their domestic recruitment is so intense that they actually knew more about the players than we did.
Yeah.
To be honest, because they were watching these games, monthly. Just 2 weeks ago, I was at IMG Academy, where every MLS team, U17s, U19s was playing, and there was probably, I mean, if I had to guess, 300 college coaches there.
Yeah.
Watching these kids firsthand. And I actually spoke with Jeremy Gunn, who's the head coach at Stanford, caught up with him, and we had this conversation. I said, do you think it's worth it? And he said, honestly, like, I don't think it's worth it. He's like, because with the most respect, like, we don't need you
Right.
for domestic players. We know them, we know who they are, we know their abilities, what we need you for is international recruitment in the UK. Like, ultimately, you are the UK recruitment arm of every Division 1 soccer program, because the cost of going to England for a week is much different to going to IMG or something like that, right? So, and it made sense. It really did make sense.
Yeah. No,
So,
and that's great to get that feedback.
Yeah, no, we have considered it, but yeah, we just kind of got taught a bit of a lesson
Well, this is
about it. So,
and this is one of these businesses, Sam, where I'm like, why isn't someone already doing this? I'm kind of surprised that it wasn't a thing.
yeah,
Of course, I hadn't thought of it, but that's really
yeah.
interesting. And so I'm curious if you, being a young man like yourself and kind of working your way into finding an opportunity, do you have some words of wisdom or some advice for other small business owners that are, trying to find their way and make it work?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this before I got on the call because I thought that question may come up. And just to talk really about my journey. So I actually have, I can't show it you, it's actually just behind this computer, but I remember the day I decided, no, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this like full time. This is what I want to do. And I went upstairs and I drew the logo with a biro on like lined paper. And that was 12 years ago. And now, we're running a healthy 7-figure revenue.
Wow.
Zero debt, zero outside capital, actually. We've had no investment. And all from my mother's spare bedroom back in England. And I just think that, because to be honest, like my granddad was a coal miner, right? Without going off topic. And when we used to go to my grandma's house, there was like envelopes on the side in the kitchen, rent, electric, food. And it was like, you spent what you had.
Yeah.
So that's the way I was always, wired up. If I didn't have it, I couldn't spend it. And whether that's a blessing or a curse, some people may argue with me. We've had a number of people try and make full acquisitions, and then come back and said, "Oh, let's do a partial investment," and stuff like that. But I enjoy the journey, and I think that's probably where what I feel differentiates me from a lot of other people that I've spoken to. I'm not in this to get rich quick.
Right.
I know that may go against everything that other people hear, but what I'm trying to say there is that, with the offers that I've had people sit and say to me, we can get you to where you want to be in 3 years, where you want to be in 10 years, we can get you there in 3. And the way that I see that is you're robbing me of 7 years of development and enjoyment and growth.
Right.
Yeah. Like, why would I want to do that? It don't make sense. Like, I don't know. And I think about this a lot because I do work a lot, to be honest. So I'm married. My wife moans at me all the time. She's from Rio. She's from Brazil. We both live in Miami. She's about the chilled, she grew up on the beach and stuff.
Right.
And I'm just relentless. And sometimes I do think, maybe I could take that weight off my shoulders, but I don't want to sound too cliche. I'm saying, oh, but I love what I do. I love what I do. And I think I do love what I do, but I want to go into a little bit more detail with that. I genuinely believe that what I and my business is offering will change people's lives.
Yeah.
Whether that's through a $250,000 scholarship in America, or even just a 10-day experience of operating as a professional academy player in the UK.
Yeah.
We put all of our time, or I certainly do, I put all my time into bettering what we have. And without realizing it, not consciously thinking, oh, you know, people say, oh, where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? I'm just like, listen, if you've, everything that we've offered, the demand has come before the supply.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It makes sense. Like we've kept our ear to the ground. People have said, oh, I'd love to go in and watch those training sessions. Right. We'll do professional like that. You know, let's start offering that, you know. Oh, we can't get in to play these teams on a tour, you know, could you offer that? You know, we can do that, of course we can. And yeah, all time and energy from all of us, to be honest. It is all of us, because the lads that work for us, they're all the same as me. We want to make what we're offering the best product or service, to where I'm not just saying this because I'm on the call with you. We never look at other companies, ever. I was at IMG 2-3 weeks ago, as I say, and a couple of people came up and said, oh, have you heard of that scholarships company in the UK? And I'm just like, oh, I genuinely have never heard of them. And I won't go away now and research it, because in that 30 minutes that I took to research the other company, I could be better in what I'm doing right now. Right. And if I know this market, like intricately, like better than anyone else, I don't have to look in any other direction. Every time and resource is just invested into making what we have better and better. And I just feel that if you do that relentlessly, everything else will follow. Everything will follow.
Well, Sam, that's an amazing journey. And certainly you're a focused and driven individual, which is what a lot of business ownership needs. To end, though, I'd like to ask one more question. Who is the greatest player in the world right now?
The greatest player in the world right now?
Yep.
It's still Messi.
Yeah, that's right.
It's still Messi. It's still Messi. There's some greats out there, but right now, to be fair, if you're looking at the highest level of the game, without any disrespect to the MLS, Jude Bellingham would be up there. Okay. I mean, what he's doing in games is incredible. See, even Jude, like that, this is going to sound crazy, but Jude has heard me deliver a presentation on US scholarships when he was at Birmingham City's U18s.
Wow.
And Tyrese Chisholm, who's now at Campbell University, and Nick Okoro, who's now at Xavier, were both his teammates at Birmingham City. So, you know, we're trying to deliver that to that's the level of player that we're offering this to. But yeah, I think I don't think anyone comes close to Messi. Yeah. He is, yeah, he's an artist.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Sam. Really enjoyed hearing about your journey. Very inspiring, and we wish you the best of luck in the future.